Okay, guys, welcome back to Not So Late Night Show. Today we will be talking about, I think, Southeast Asia's, one of Southeast Asia's actually, biggest unicorn that's going IPO. I think this company we have been using their products and services, for a lot during the pandemic, and I think timing is actually really right for them to actually seek for IPO listing. So, which company are we talking about today, Jumeng?
We're going to talk about Grab, which is a company originated from Malaysia, but now they are actually based in Singapore. So I think before we start, as usual, there is a disclaimer that all these information that we have shared is just for reference purposes. Don't take this as any buy or sell advice, right? So I think without further ado, I will go into the business information about Grab. So, like what I say, they started as My Taxi. It's basically an online taxi booking services founded by Anthony Tan and also Tan Hui Ling about, I think, 10 years ago. So, fast forward to 2021, this is a few key milestones they have managed to cover. So, go beyond just a taxi, go into ride hailings, and now they are in food delivery and even offer some of the financial services to the end user. And then beside Malaysia, they also expanded their footprint across Southeast Asia. And like what Japan say, they are one of the biggest unicorn at the moment. So they are technically everything inside our life, especially during this pandemic season. Me personally like to actually open up their app every single day to check if there's any promo so that I can actually order for my lunch or dinners. Some of the time, I even need to use their so-called delivery services called Grab Express to deliver some of the goods to some of the clients. So this is everything's about Grab. Beside the thing that more likely related to us, which is delivery and also mobilities, which is the Grab car services. The other thing that has been doing very well is their Grab Pay, which now you have an option to do buy now, pay laters, and some of the region you can also buy insurance or some investment product through this application. And then if you talk about Southeast Asia, they are one of the champions in these three key categories. And of course, mobility is the one that they has been there for many years. Delivery, they have started to pick it up, even though have a very challenging fight with Food Panda in the earlier days. And now their financial services is start to actually show some result. And nevertheless, none of the region actually contribute more than 35% if you base on the adjusted net revenue. So it's quite a healthy one. They have actually footprint across Southeast Asia. And then beside all the key services, they continue to enhance their super apps. And then not only to the end user, but some of the thing also heading towards the partners. So when I say partner, it's like, let's say you are the rider for Grab, and then you don't have the money to buy your bike, they actually can offer you the lending solution and so on. So they have been trying very hard to enhance their ecosystem so that more people actually use their service, and it actually will have a ripple effect that actually roll in more revenue back to them. And one of the key challenges within this region is, even though we are culturally about the same in a way from the Western eye, but then it's quite different in every single country. And what Grab is able to actually do is they localize all their services based on the specific country needs, and then you will feel very friendly. Let's say you are a Malaysian, and then you using the Malaysia version of the Grab, everything is related back to you. And over the past 2 years, they have been showing a good growth result with a CAGR of 133%. And then this is the reason why they are very confident that this is the right time for them to go into IPO. As you can see, the delivery actually make a very important impact, especially during the pandemic seasons. Before I end my parts, one of the key things that I wanted to share with you is the shareholding structures of Grab. They actually supported by multiple VC. One of the key one is actually SoftBank, and you can see SoftBank not actually invested in Uber. They also invested in Didi, and both of them actually somehow related back to Grab. So this is how SoftBank try to harmonize all their investment, and then to ensure they become the king of the local market, and then able to monopolize the entire things and maximize the revenue. So these some of the shareholding structure that actually related to Grab. So this basically sums up everything about Grab. I'll pass to Jupan to share with you some of the financial figures before we go into the IPO details.
Right, thank you, Jumping. We see that Grab is actually slowly to build its own ecosystem entrenched in our lives, not only from ride-hailing, which they started off, but eventually going through a lot of other business verticals and also service. So food delivery and also slowly going into fintech as well. So without further ado, we will look more into their financial. But before that, just a shout out to what we are currently doing for our premium club members. We do have a special kind of premium club that like-minded investors actually join, and we talk about stocks, discuss on them in a private Facebook group, and we also do similar videos like this one, but private one, and the titles can be suggested by the members. So the latest one that we touched base was on portfolio management. We also write, dissect, analyze companies and make them into premium articles for our premium club members. And sometimes there is a need to look at a certain segment or theme to find the next investment ideas. So we have already touched on EV early part of the years, and to semiconductor companies, and the latest one that just we finalized was e-commerce, and the upcoming one will be clouds. Castles on Clouds, where we actually touch base on companies that are in the cloud segment. Here is just a brief screenshot on the companies that we will be touching. So it will be the cloud service providers, also the SaaS players, and also the security, and also your DC centers as well. So do consider checking us out if you are going or wanting to tap onto the next cloud company to add onto your portfolio, as we will be sharing wide and detailed information and analysis on the companies. Right, back to Grab. So you can see that the top line growth has been very, very impressive. They have grown quite well, and they actually targeted to grow at a 40% CAGR over the next 3 years, starting 2021 up to 2023. And one thing that you really need to take note of is their so-called take-up rate. So what is take-up rate? Basically, the commission that they charge on top of their GMV, which is the gross merchant value. So Grab as the business, they actually come up with all this platform to help connect buyers or riders with the drivers and the so-called food merchants as well. And being the person who owns the platform, they actually charge a commission. So this is actually the amount that they actually charge to record as revenue. So the more confident they are in retaining customers and also the merchants, then you can see on the right hand side, you can see the take-up rate has increased from 7% up to 14%, and it's actually planned to normalize at around 13%. So due to that, you can see that Grab is actually forecasting to actually grow at a very, very high momentum. And of course, if you actually increase or maintain a higher take-up rate, it will actually do wonders to your profitability as well. Historically, Grab has been a company that has been, burning through cash and also reporting losses, as it is putting its best effort to increase market share. But you can see the loss actually narrowed down significantly, or the EBITDA actually narrowed down, and it is actually projecting to report a positive EBITDA by the year of 2023 due to all of this forecast and growth momentum. one good or one important aspect is the retention rate, which is how much of the offerings and services that Grab currently has and the users that are entrenched to it. So the more offerings and the more services, or the more reliant a Grab user or a customer of Grab is to its ecosystem, then chances are they will keep on going back to Grab app, launching it for whatever Chun said, be it for food delivery, be it for ride hailing, or be it to just getting stuff sent from point A to point B. And this would actually let Grab build onto a consistent stream of demand and revenue to maintain the growth forecast that it has set out. I think one of the most important aspects is actually the delivery segment. You can see that GMV, the gross merchandise value, has been increasing and improving significantly, actually due to the pandemic, where most of us are actually confined to our home. We are advised not to go out during the height of the pandemic, and due to that, you can see that the financials and the numbers and the growth for Grab has been nothing short of spectacular. And due to that as well, you can see they are projecting to actually hit positive EBITDA by the year of 2022, which is just going to be next year. And coincidentally, they have chosen to actually go on live via a SPAC merger, which we will talk about more detail later. And by also introducing the Grab Mart or the Grab Supermarket offering as well, it taps on to the existing deliveries roadmap or the current network of riders and delivery partners that we have. So it can actually help to move more of the so-called deliveries and help to getting itself more and more entrenched in our daily lives as well. So moving on to the mobility segment, you can see that it is also very positive. And even though traveling within different parts of the town may have actually stunted temporarily the growth of Grab, but yeah, it is expected to actually deliver more after the pandemic, when things actually quiet down, when traveling within the country's borders, or even within cross countries, when all of that actually comes to start back again, yeah, definitely Grab will be also reaping the so-called benefits of the growth from the mobility segment as well. And I think one niche segment that could also play an important part would be the financial group. So this is the portion where Grab actually helps to finance everything, be it the Grab Pay portion, the rewards, and also the remittance. So they also do, like what Chun Bing say, lending, insurance, and also wealth businesses. So these are the upcoming fintech pillar that Grab is also putting a lot of effort to actually build up, and you can see that it is also actually experiencing a healthy CAGR growth of roughly 29+%, right, for the TPV, and also for the adjusted net revenue portion is going to be around 23+% CAGR. Right, moving on to the IPO information, you can see that they have actually chose to become a listed entity via the SPAC merger. So a little background on Altimeter, which is the so-called company or SPAC company that will be the target SPAC merger for Grab. So the reason why Grab actually chose the SPAC or reverse merger method is actually due to a lot of reasons. So they are mainly due to a few. One mainly due to time, because the duration of SPAC merger is typically 3 to 4 months, while traditional IPO is going to be lasting around 6 to 9 months. And of course, one of the other aspects is that in terms of pricing, a SPAC merger usually is very much cheaper compared to the traditional IPO route as well. Right, the typical underwriter fees is around 5.5% for a SPAC merger, while for the traditional IPO, it's going to be at 6%. So just to give you guys a breakdown on what would happen during the SPAC merger, so you can see down there, the SPAC entity, which is Altimeter, will actually be the merger sub, and then Grab, the company that most of us are interested in, will be the target merger sub. They will come together and then form the co, and then eventually Grab as the company with the main business will actually become the listing entity and take over the trading ticker from Altimeter. For those who are currently holding on to Altimeter, your Altimeter shares would be converted to a Grab share. So it is possible already to actually invest into Grab right now, to actually buy into Altimeter shares, which is already listed on the US Nasdaq stock market. And there you have it. Once the SPAC merger is complete, the SPAC shareholders, the PIPE investors, and the target shareholders will be the holding or the shareholders of Grab. And underneath Grab will be the merger sub and also the target sub. So going on to maybe the most important aspect, which is the valuation. How reasonable or how expensive can Grab be, and the valuation they are projecting themselves to. If you look at the peer-to-peer comparison over here, which they have portrayed themselves against a few competitors, namely DoorDash, Sea, Meituan, Mercado Libre, and also PayPal, they are actually, I would say, one of the more pricier companies in terms of valuation. So you can see that versus Sea Limited, they're actually having a higher enterprise value, and also in terms of the growth adjusted enterprise value, they are also slightly higher than Sea Limited and also Meituan as well. But of course, compared to DoorDash, they might be at a cheaper valuation. Of course, there's also some sort of guidance in terms of the 2020 to 2022 revenue CAGR growth rate. They are at one of the highest, which is around 40+%, but they are still way behind other high growth players like Sea Limited and also Meituan as well. And I think one thing that you should, or we should take note of, is that the valuation that Grab is choosing to IPO or to list itself on is actually 39.6 billion. So compared to their last round of funding, which they had earlier this year, back then, earlier this year, when they had their last round of funding, they were only valued at 16 billion. But now with the opportunity to actually go live via the SPAC merger, they are actually pushing up their valuation by close to 100%, valuing close to 39.6 billion. It's just roughly 40 billion, which is more than 100% compared to what they were valued earlier this year, which is just 16 billion. So to be exact, it's just 2.5 times more versus the private valuation. And then I think one of the key obstacles that you need to really take note of is that you have to really understand the mechanics and the so-called regions that Grab is actually functioning at. So we know that they have been one of the key leaders in the Southeast Asian market, as mentioned and shown by Chun Bing. But there is strong competition in Indonesia. So particularly coming from Gojek, which is one of Indonesia's homegrown or unicorn as well. So they're also in the ride-hailing business and also in the food delivery business as well. And you can see over the years since March 2020 over here, up till February 2021 this year, you can see that Grab's market dominance or market share has been slowly been trimmed by Gojek. So previously it was just around 70+%. So I think right now they are pretty much neck to neck. So you really need to take note of. And why do you need to take note of that? Because the entire Southeast Asia population, Indonesia is 30% of it. So to really win Southeast Asia market and to really be a market leader, you need to actually entrench yourself in the market leader position in Indonesia. And as we all saw just now, Gojek is quite a tough competition to Grab, and they really need to put in a lot of effort to ensure that they emerge victorious in Indonesia. So failure to do so and letting Gojek take over their market leader position would actually deteriorate the valuation of this company, which we saw just right now is quite expensive. Right. So of course, there will be plenty of parties with their opinions and verdicts, but I'll say let us pass it on to Chun Bing. Do you think it is going to be an expensive company, or due to the so-called plenty of products and services is actually fairly priced?
I think we need to put the whole thing into a few contexts. If you zoom into the so-called addressable market within Southeast Asia, which is the easy way to actually find out the growth potential. So you can see the online food delivery, ride hailing, and also digital wallet payments. At the moment, it's not that big, and based on their forecast, they are able to grow by a lot due to the fact that this whole region is a very young. I mean, it's having a very young population. But Japan is right in one sense that Gojek is definitely dominating in their local market, which is Indonesia, and also due to the strategic investment alignment behind the scene, which is SoftBank, it make it harder for Grab to actually go into Indonesia that easily because left pocket and right pockets by SoftBank themselves, they will try to actually maximize the whole thing. So this is one context that you can see, but then you should zoom into deeper, maybe take out the potential growing story of Indonesia and relook into the so-called growing potential can be actually realized by Grab. But of course, I would say online food delivery is a booming industry thanks to pandemics, and it will continue to grow for sure. But then it's also a very tough space that a lot of people is trying to enter. And then you go into ride hailing and all those things. Besides Indonesia, that definitely is technically the king in Southeast Asia. But for digital wallets, it's some place that have a lot of potential due to the fact that there's a lot of unbanked population or underbanked population in different country. If you take out Malaysia and also Singapore, there is a lot of potential that Grab can try to take on. And of course, if you zoom out from Southeast Asia and try to actually compare the similar business pillar against other merchant market, this is how it looked like. So if you try to look into food delivery, the online penetration that's actually displaying in China and US is about 20+%. By easy comparison, you still have about 10% more to go, which actually give you a lot of imagination against this company. But of course, bear in mind, Southeast Asia as a whole is actually shown in this slide. You should take this with a pinch of salt because Indonesia might not be delivering the number as expected for Grab. And then moving on for the mobility, which is more on the ride-hailing parts. Southeast Asia, I think it will be more close to US. And then, of course, there's still room to grow. While for me, the biggest potential should be the digital finance services, where the Southeast Asia is the area that Grab is in right now, and then they is having a lot of opportunity to actually reap some gold from these areas. But of course, beside talking about all the potential, this is where they are. If you wanted to zoom into the different unicorn or giant within Southeast Asia, so Grab is definitely the one on the top, where the one that actually impacted by the pandemic is the ride-hailing, but we can expect them to come back quite easily once the vaccination rate has picked up in all the country. But then within food delivery is a place that very competitive, and even player like Shopee started to enter Asia as well. But for finance, all those things, beside competing with all the giants, they also have a lot of local players. So wherever a Grab is trying to enter, there's always a lot of competition. But beside Gojek that can go head-on with them, Grab is actually having some of the advantage. So for example, if you want to talk about GrabPay, it's hard to actually grow an e-wallet. But then Grab has I would say, a unique selling point that you need to use GrabPay due to the fact that you need to order the food from them or order the ride from them. So this is how they try to actually enhance their ecosystem and actually having quite a unique offering across Southeast Asia beside Indonesia, which is dominated by Gojek. So this is some of the overview that you can see from investor point of view. But then another potential thing that they can actually bring in the next growth story for Grab is the digital bank. And you can see Grab is actually partnering with Singtel try to enter into the Singapore and also the Malaysia digital banking industry. So this is the few exciting in, I would say, potential that actually projected by Grab. But again, it's a place with a lot of competition, even though they are the so-called leader right now. But it's not easy to hold on to that position due to a lot of competitor regionally and also locally. So I think one of the key things that you should look into it in details is a valuation, not really about the growing story. The growth story is there, the potential is there, the dominating factor is also there, but valuation is what you should take note before you make your investment call. So I think this pretty much sums up everything about Grab. Of course, it's not listed yet, so we shall see whether it will be one of the biggest SPAC in the US IPO history or not. We shall see. But of course, if you like our sharing and you have a different thought about Grab, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and do like and also subscribe to our channel if you like to actually see some of the upcoming videos from our end. So is there anything wanted to add, Jupan?
Nope. So I think if you are confident about the company, yeah, you can just go on and purchase Altimeter shares right now, which will be eventually converted to Grab. But as mentioned, this company is not a company without prospects and catalysts. We all know the catalysts and prospects, but it's just the valuation, which is going to be quite rich and steep, unless you are very, very confident that they are able to stay on competition, be it from the food delivery business, be it from the ride-hailing side, and also be it from the fintech side, then of course it does make sense to actually put in some capital to this exciting company. But if you are someone who prefers to wait and see for further developments, then yeah, you probably standing on the same side as us, yeah, it's definitely not wrong to actually look and see how things actually unfold for this upcoming unicorn that most of us are going to get the opportunity to invest when the time is right. So that's it for today. I hope you like our sharing on Grab. Let us know in the comment section whether you will be a Grab shareholder in the coming months, or are you going to wait and observe more. Let us know in the comment section as well what other companies you would like us to cover, and do share, like, and subscribe to our channel, which help us create such videos for the future as well. So take care. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.